Hey, Cleaning Nation, sorry to be with you a tiny bit late. Today's a big day because if you're with us live or watching the video, it is one of the rare moments. I have a good-looking lady to my right, I believe. Often that's my bride. Sometimes it's Lindsay. In this case, it is the lovely Tracy. She's our mindset coach.
Hey, Cleaning Nation. This episode is a replay of one of our best performing podcasts ever. Everyone loves listening to this, so we thought we'd share it again in case some of you out there have not heard it. Hope you enjoy, and on to the show.
And believe it or not, we are having her on. Today's topic, if you're here, is should I do residential? Should I do commercial? Should I do both? It was actually Tracy's idea to do that one because she's our coach and or one of our coaches. She's our mindset coach. When people come in, one of the first things they do once they enroll in our program is have a call Tracy. One of the things that she's hearing a lot is, well, I know Mike's constantly talking, yelling, screaming, ranting, whatever you want to call it. Try not to be cursing about residential or commercial or both. And then there's always the long explanation or the short explanation of why they're different and whatever. So I've been yelling and ranting for 5 years straight now, and we're still getting that question. So whatever I'm doing is not working. I figured we'd have Tracy come on and she could talk through the way we look at how we choose our customers. So Tracy, if I screwed up your intro, feel free to fix it. If I did a good job, just dive right in and start helping the people, lady.
Yeah, no, it's exactly all of that. And I want to just say from a mindset perspective, since that's my sort of world, what this conundrum that people find themselves in. Well, we dabble in residential, but we really want to do commercial, or we're trying to do both. And then we're trying to do post-construction, and it really starts with the mindset around why the story they're telling themselves around why they're doing it that way. And oftentimes it starts out more like, hey, well, that's just what was coming up. People were giving us residential business, so we took it. Somebody asked us if we could do post-construction, so we did it. And then they asked us if they would give us a bid for their industrial buildings, so we did it. And so I get a lot of this, well, gosh, I can't turn down business. I mean, right? I know I said I was going to do commercial and I'm committed to doing that. And I call myself a commercial cleaner. But then as soon as somebody says, oh, but do you do this, do you do that? They feel like they're coming from that mindset that if they say no, they're going to lose out. That somehow their business is not going to grow, and that the way to do that is to diversify. So, Mike, you probably are very aware of this sort of FOMO, right? Mindset of, oh, but if I say no, what's going to happen to my business? And they dabble. That's what ends up happening is they're dabblers. And then they wonder why their marketing isn't working. They're wondering why they can't get any traction, why they don't have a brand. All of that happens as sort of a byproduct of this story they tell themselves, well, I just have to take what comes. So that's at the core of it.
Yeah, and I'm so glad that you said that because I really wanted to work from the inside out. So you said something so key. People do and again, it can sound like, well, you don't understand. I've got a friend that's a realtor and she could give me there's all this on a platter of all this work, right? This magical work. But what it really comes from is just like you said, Tracy, that internal belief of, and I'm going to get real here. We're only a couple minutes in, but we're going to do it.
Let's do it.
I got Tracy. So if I make everyone sad, she can fix it and help everyone come out of the pit so no one leaves suicidal. I truly believe, and Tracy, I would love your perspective as well. It comes from a place of, I'm not good enough to get enough of the customers I need. So I have to take the crap that I get. And I have this friend or this magical savior that will fix everything. And they're the source of my power. And even though the jobs they bring suck and they won't pay and they're going to kill my business, that's my only option. And I've seen that in relationships, dating, you'll kind of be with I know this person isn't the caliber of person I should be with. And we tell ourselves, but they're so attractive or they're so fun, or we'll kind of
internalize it. Available.
Yeah. Well, we did. That's the second level of honesty. They said yes, right? Sometimes Tracy's a little more evolved where she could just say, oh, they just showed up and they were here, and God forbid they bring food.
A lot of people treat their businesses just like that. Well, why are you friends with this person? Well, they just keep showing up. Why are you taking this business? Well, because somebody asked me. So you're absolutely right, Mike. It really comes down to that feeling of the mindset and the story that they keep telling themselves is, but what if the lane I've chosen, I'm not good enough to make that work?
Mm.
What if I don't know enough? What if I don't have what it takes? What if I fail and I gave up that other business, even if it's crap business, that's okay. But, I gave up that business. I let that go to stay in my lane and I fail. What if that happens? And that's what keeps them continuing to grab at whatever they can. And unfortunately, they end up with this patchwork of a business that's fragmented, and they don't have focus, and it's a self-perpetuating sort of self-fulfilling dilemma they put themselves in. So
what's the answer? I mean, you asked it's so funny. People won't say, they'll say, oh, I've got a friend, or I had to take this, or you don't understand. There's going to be, they make up all sorts of stuff. But really it's in response to that question, which I'd love your answer to, Tracy, of what if I do go all in and focus and I fail? It's almost like if we try the safe bet, which it's not safe, but it feels safe, of I'll take anyone and everyone as a customer, then we can kind of maybe blame the world. But if so answer that. You asked the question. So how do we help them answer that? What's the story we can tell that's going to be helpful?
Well, the first thing is the story that taking whatever we can get is better than one thing. And it's not even better than nothing. It's better than choosing one thing. That is the very first story that we have to go within and say, really, let's face that internal story. Why am I afraid to choose that one lane? And if the answer comes up, okay, so we have to truly ask us, be honest. And if the truth is, I don't feel like I know enough about this industry. I don't feel like I have the right marketing language. I don't feel like I, whatever, right? There's some sort of story of I'm not enough. Then the first thing we have to address is, okay, if you were to go all in, what would it take? That's a different question than, well, you know what? Why don't I just take whatever comes, and then I don't have to think about it, and I don't have to commit myself fully to any one thing. And you're right. That keeps me from being the reason or the cause of my success or failure, because then it's just whatever external circumstances happened to them.
So first of all, I love the compare and contrast. I don't want anyone listening to miss it, of the two questions. So the question we started with was a really disempowering question that didn't have there was no good answer. So the question of, what if I blank, whatever that thing that we kind of know we should do is, stop eating poorly and start eating well, stop dating this person who I know is not good and go on my own, focus on a specific niche that I've been coached to do from someone I trust, but it fails. What answers can your brain come up with that are going to help you out of that? Nothing but negativity. Well, then this, and so I love how I asked you a really negative question. I'm like, how do you answer that? And Tracy's like, you don't. You ask a better daggum question. So the question that you replaced it with, and this is so important, guys, gals, because really all thinking is asking and answering questions, right? That's all. If you just could have a transcript of your mind, it's asking yourself questions and answering questions. And we don't even have to get better at answering the questions, believe it or not. We got to get better at asking the questions. You ask me a loaded question like, what happens if I do X and my world fails? I feel like I'm a pretty positive, powerful mind guy, but I have no good answers. But when you go, what would I have to do to make sure it doesn't fail? I got 300 answers for you. So hopefully you guys didn't miss that. It's really the power of the question that you ask almost predates the power of the answer that you give. You ask the wrong question, there's no right answer. You ask the right question, there's infinite answers.
It opens the world. So you ask yourself a question like, what would it take for me to make this work? What would I need to know? Who would I need to speak to? So those are resourceful questions that open that part of it's called the reticular activator part of the brain. It's like the golden retriever of your brain. What it does is it goes, ooh, you ask me a question, I'm going to go find some answers for you. And guess what? Why does this always happen to me? Why can't I make this work? What do you think those answers are going to be? They're going to be like, here's all the evidence of why it's not going to work and how it's not going to work and all the times it hasn't worked. So if you ask yourself those resourceful questions, and here's one I absolutely love. Who do I need to be in order for this to work?
So
choose that lane.
This is just I just have to apply it to the kind of hypothetical we've been running. I'm dating this person. It's still, and this isn't a dating thing, but everyone gets the dating. So if we can kind of understand it there, then we can translate it to business. People don't say, but you don't understand me when it comes to dating, but they do say it to business. So if we can get you that in the dating part, you'll adopt it. So if we ask her, why does this keep happening to me? Why do I keep attracting jerks? Why do I put up with this sort of stuff? You will never get an answer that it's never going to be satisfying. When you go, who do I have to be to attract the mate that I want? Holy crap. Your world is your oyster. If you've taken it from why does this thing keep happening to me, you have powerless, to who do I have to be, completely powerful. I'm getting goosebumps just with that. The power of that question, Tracy, is life-changing.
Hey Clean Nation, Mike Campion here. One of my least favorite things about these podcasts are we found that people love the show and they love the information, but when I talk to you guys in person, stuff doesn't get done. People love the podcast, but they don't take any action. If you'd like to actually implement this and get this done in your world, we have a whole team of people that do exactly that. If you go to growmycleaningcompany.com/talk, you can book a time with either myself personally or one of our teammates to at least help you come up with a plan to actually implement and change your life. So if you want to go from getting these good ideas in your head to getting in your life, just book a free call with myself or my team, growmycleaningcompany.com/talk, and we can go from this one-to-many format to one-to-one and really get you some results. Excited to talk.
And that it allows you, enables you, empowers you to seek out the right support, the right knowledge, the right people. You begin to develop and grow the part of you that is necessary for you to have that focus and that clarity, and allowing yourself, instead of obscuring all of that with FOMO. Oh, but I better take this. I better take that. I have to, dabble so that I don't ever have to commit. So why don't we all agree with ourselves? If you've been in that place, if you're in that place where you're like, well, I have commercial and I have residential, or I'm dabbling in all these other areas, what would it take? Ask yourself the question, what would it take for me to pick one lane, go all in, and then ask for and seek out the support I need to make that work?
Yeah, and from a tactical standpoint, just to kind of buttress what you're saying from the thinking standpoint,
right?
It's a ridiculous thought to say, well, first of all, it's not a ridiculous thought, but when you hold it to the light, when we keep it kind of in our brain, we don't share it, it seems very sensible. When we hold it to the light of day, it's like, maybe that doesn't make so much sense. So the thought that Tracy mentioned, I know you guys and gals are thinking this, and I've thought this, and Tracy's probably thought it, was, what if I focus on this and it fails? But the ridiculousness is, okay, so I'm not going to focus on it. So if you're like, well, I don't know enough about residential to only do residential. Okay, so I'll just do 1,000 things, and then I have no chance of it working, right? Like I always tell people, you're competing with people. So say I'm like, I do move and move outs, I do car dealerships, I've got a golf course, I clean some lady's house, I clean some guy's condo, I clean this guy's pet, I detail cars. If it moves or thinks about moving or whatever, and I got a rag and someone will throw money at me, I'll clean it, whatever that looks like. You're competing with people that are like, all I do, with our clients, frankly, that are like, all I do is clean wealthy, single men that live in high-rise condos, or wealthy married women that have dual income, multiple kids, multiple pets that live in the suburbs, or just golf courses, or clubhouses, or whatever. If you're going to compete with that guy, you got no chance. So you're you're almost setting yourself up for failure. Like, well, I don't think I'm good enough at being able to I don't know, pick a market. I don't know, medical. I don't know how to do a clean room or a hospital. That just seems so complex. So I'll just take whoever walks in. It's certainly safer, but if we think about it, it's like, really? So you want to compete with everybody on their thing as opposed to just going deep. I don't think I'm communicating well, Tracy. How about help me?
One of the things that comes up in my conversations with our clients when this topic comes up is they always say the same thing. And I'd like to bring it back to this sort of core theme here, mental construct, and that is fragmentation. They're fragmented. Their efforts are fragmented. Their their time is fragmented. Their whole business model is fragmented. And it's a reflection of this internal fragmentation that's happening. And so to what you were saying, to build that bridge to what you were saying, Mike, is competition makes it very clear, very fast. That's a nice way to sort of get our focus back and say, but if I were to compete, and it's kind of interesting, Mike, I think there's something underneath this. It's like, well, if I don't do something specific, then I don't have to feel like I compete. And there's this weird sort of, I don't even want to compete because maybe I'm not good enough, right, is underneath it. But man, do you want to run yourself ragged? Trying to be the jack of all trades all the time, never having any real grounded focus in your business, your life, your efforts. You see what I'm saying? So this is where they get burnt out, Mike. This is why they come and they're like, I'm frazzled. I'm all over the board. I'm confused. Oh my gosh. How often do we hear, I'm confused. We're trying to do so many things and it's killing me.
And it's almost self-inflicted confusion. Like when we
It is.
kind of know the right answer, but we don't want to acknowledge it. Tracy and I were literally doing a coaching call for our alumni yesterday, and we had a very bright woman who was, I don't want to say making up, because she was allowing these questions that any of you guys could answer. It wasn't like we needed me to be on there and clear her out. It was almost like she was just trying to fight herself. She knew the right answer. She wanted to do it. And we can kind of choose confusion. And again, it was the questions she was choosing to ask were obscuring questions as opposed to clarity questions. Because sometimes I think we know the answer. So we're like, if we ask weak questions, we can give weak answers and never have to do anything, which is fine if you want to stay where you're at. If we ask a powerful question, we'll have to give it a powerful answer, which will move us out of our place. But we kind of like our place, if truth be told. Does that sound too circular?
Exactly. It's that difference between knowing better and doing better, taking action. So exactly, that's what this whole topic of, should I do residential? Should I do commercial? Should I do both? Should I do post-construction? It's really not even about that. It's about you getting clarity, committing, going all in, and asking the appropriate, powerful questions that will keep you in that focused, action-taking space. I think we unknowingly, unwittingly do this to ourselves because, and how many times have you thought to yourself, man, I am working way too hard. Why am I working so hard and not making enough money, not making enough progress, not growing my business? Meanwhile, you're out there just taking what comes in. You see what I'm saying? So they all go together. So that starts with that clarity mindset, asking those clarifying, I love that, Mike, the clarifying questions. If the questions you're asking yourself have 50 million answers that none of them help you, that's not a clarifying question. Especially
if we go from quite like YouTube, you watch a video and then that takes you another video and then you sneeze and it's been 9 days and you're like, what if it's been going on? It's meant to do that, right? Our mind does the same thing. So if we ask a question that's kind of unanswerable, that really brings up 7 more questions that are also unanswerable, we can be like, fantastic. I'll just go to the YouTube of my mind and kind of not ever have to have a real, and again, no offense, because I know this is being broadcast on YouTube. But I remember talking to a gal that I don't want to say who she is, really bright gal who has so much potential. And she was afraid to make massive change. She's like, I'm just going to keep going to YouTube. And that's kind of like the same thing with our thoughts, and again, if I thought YouTube would have helped her, God bless, I'd have told her to do that. But she'd been watching YouTube. It wasn't it. It was just more, it was something she could do to feel like she was making a difference and not have to do anything. So
it's the busyness without effectiveness.
So as we end, 2 things. I'm going to let you finish this bad boy. 1, how do we move from, because again, it's a habit, as well as I. The good thing is, once and I know, once we get used to, and that's why I love working with Tracy. Just by the way, she won't put up with any of my crap and vice versa. So I know if I was going to ask a dumb question or a disempowering question, I'll go, and then go, oh no, Tracy's going to turn that right around on me. And then I'll coach myself to just have a better question. She does that. So we're kind of in that space, and it's a habit. And it's a great habit, but we didn't start in that space. I think naturally we all as humans start in a different space. So for those of us that are moved, that are in the confusion, asking the wrong questions, disempowering questions, how do we move over? And then how do we use this newfound superpower to get clear on, we'll just use, for example, since it's the topic for today, to get clear on how to actually transition from, okay, what Mike and Tracy said was smart, but I'm afraid I'm still going to go back and sell to anyone that throws money at me.
So the first thing is, I always say, if you're having one of those aha breakthrough moments where you're going, oh my gosh, they've got my number. That is exactly it. I'm seeing myself in this. If you're having a moment like that right now, never leave the scene of a breakthrough without taking and correlated action.
That's a writer. Say that again. And just guys, gals, that's a writer downer. She's going to say it again right now. If you're listening and didn't write that down, you're missing the daggum boat. Say it again if you would.
Don't ever leave the scene of an aha or a breakthrough without taking one related action immediately. And then
if I was a guy that would get tattoos, I would tattoo that across myself. I'm not a tattoo guy, but if I had to get a tattoo, and it's a little wordy, I try to be short, but that is so good, Tracy.
And then get leverage on yourself. And you know how most of us get leverage on ourselves? We tell somebody else, or we have a mentor or a coach or somebody that's going to help hold ourselves accountable to those actions that were correlated with that new aha breakthrough. So it's not just the aha. It's not just taking action one time. It's getting leverage on yourself and continuing to take massive action. And that's how we break out of old patterns.
Can I be terrible and put you right on the spot and you can say no?
Yes.
I'm guessing there's 3 or 4 people are at the live, and maybe as this goes on, there'll be probably dozens that are like, oh my gosh, I need that. If they were to shoot you an email and just say, hey, I don't have anyone I'd like to share it with, or I just want to share it with you, could I share your email without you? Okay. So for those of you that don't just email Tracy to say hi or blow up her email, because then we won't be able to do fun stuff like this. But if you're like, I really did have a breakthrough, and maybe I'm going to share it with someone else, but I just feel like I want to share it with Tracy. She's got a very covert email address. So she knows that people know. So it's not Tracy at Grow My Cleaning Company, because there's 400 ways to spell it. So I'm going to give you the magic way to spell it that will actually get to Tracy. It's TRAC. For some inexplicable reason, we have to talk to Tracy's mom, EY, and there's a heart over the Y. So you have to make sure you find the key on your board that will have the heart over it, or she won't get it. So Tracy at growmycleaningcompany.com, TRACEY. So again, don't blow up her email. But if you really did have an aha and you feel like, man, I just wanted to share with Tracy where I'm at, or I need some help, just shoot her an email. If you were like, wow, this is great, but I need more than a 20-minute chunk, we've got almost 600 episodes, way over 500 at growmycleaningcompany.com. There is probably the best thing that we have that covers the mindset part of it, the what to do, all of that is the webinar, the free on-demand training we created. That's just the best that we've got. Oh, thank you, Lindsay. Put it in the chat for us. growmycleaningcompany.com has all the resources that we have. Go there, let us in the community. There's the Facebook group. You can share in the Facebook group of kind of your ahas, all that sort of stuff. Share it, go there. We are here for you. Myself, the whole team, we've got a whole team of people just here to help you grow your cleaning company. And really, if we were being honest, help grow you first and then magically your cleaning company later. Clean Nation, you were awesome. To those of you in the Next Level group and Millionaire Masterminds, Tracy and I are both going to see you live in a couple days. For everyone else, we'll see you virtually, as is our custom. Talk soon.
Hey, Cleaning Nation, if you dug the content you just got, we don't do any ads and I don't sell anything on this podcast, but if you would just subscribe, rate, and review, it would be huge and I'd be so appreciative. Not only is it going to help me, but you'll help other owners of cleaning companies across the world work less, make more, and get profitable. So if you appreciate the value we give, again, subscribe, rate, and review. It would mean the world to me. I'd really appreciate it. And we sure appreciate your time and attention.